Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Did you notice that I am now on a container ship? Yes, I just joined the vessel exactly 1 week ago. This container vessel is about 57,000 gross tonnage and has a capacity of 5,100 TEU. We have 210 refrigerated containers on board, and even I'm just 7 days on board, I have now encountered one of the most difficult tasks in a repair container. And that is to replace a defective compressor unit. But of course, still a little bit lucky that the defective compressor is from repair container which is stowed inside the cargo hold. It means that we do not need any staging or scaffolding prior replacing the compressor unit. It is much more difficult to replace the compressor unit in an open deck stowed above other container than working inside the cargo hold area. I need to replace this scroll type compressor due to open motor windings which result to abnormal vibration while running, and later the supply breaker will trip off. In later part of this video, I will show you how I confirm that this compressor is defective. So please watch this short video until the end. When working on a repair container and having a major fault or defective compressor, you need first to make a report and inform the office before you carry out any further work. It requires a permission from them to use the spare part and need to request for replenishment for the spare that you consume. Before you start to dismantle the defective compressor, you need to depressurize the system or pump down the system or recover first the refrigerant. To do that, you will need a gauge manifold, a recovery pump or a vacuum pump, and a recovery tank. First, properly connect the manifold to the discharge service valve and suction valve of your defective compressor. Then, if it is now properly connected, we need to backseat the valve. It will close the main line and the pressure will go directly to your gauge manifold. Now that the valve is backseated, we can see that we still have 12 bars pressure on the compressor unit, and dismantling the compressor with 12 bars pressure is unsafe. Since the compressor is defective, we cannot start to run and easily pump down the system. Pumping down the system simply means that most of the refrigerant will be collected inside the liquid receiver. Using the recovery pump unit, we can discharge the pressure and temporarily store in a recovery tank. So you just need to start the recovery pump, open all the valves in the gauge manifold, and wait until the pressure drops to the minimum possible pressure. Now that the high pressure side is steady 0 bars, we can now start to dismantle the compressor by easily loosening the bolts on the delivery and suction valves. This is my colleague, OS Mark, my today partner for this new compressor installation process. I asked an assistant from deck department because working in a heavy spare part like compressor unit is much easier when you have an assistant than working alone.
Na-pump down na maayos yun. Ito kasi ano eh, compressor ba? Pressurized. Ito.
Now that the new compressor is in place, we can also put back all the piping connections including the bolts and nuts for its base. I also lay out and reconnect the pressure switch and the discharge temperature sensor inside the main control panel. I just cut the old cable for me to have a marking during the installation process. Let's measure the internal windings of this newly installed compressor and compare the value of the old unit. For the new compressor, we have 2.5 ohms reading on all terminal windings and it shows a balanced resistance on all phase windings. In this old compressor unit, I can measure about 193 ohms on terminal 1 and 2 and 193 ohms on terminal 2 and 3 and a 3.2 ohms on terminal 1 and 3. So we have unbalanced resistance reading or an open phase winding. That is why we have abnormal noise and vibration on this compressor. And suddenly it will trip up the main breaker. So this compressor is single phasing during running. So the only solution is to replace it with a new compressor unit. Before I open or front-seated both discharge and suction service valve, I vacuum again the unit to remove the air inside this new compressor. We all know that air and moisture on the refrigeration system has a huge abnormal effect, but we can discuss that on some other videos about refrigeration system. The system is now running. We need to carry out further observation if there's any abnormal vibration or noise while the compressor is running. We should also check if there's any leakages on all fittings using your leak detector device. On main control panel, we can check if the suction and delivery pressure is within normal value, and if the suction pressure is low, we can top up refrigerant. But now, the suction pressure is about 6 to 7 bars, which is a normal value. Charging a refrigerant is not necessary, and this reefer container has a temperature set point of only plus 15 degrees Celsius. Now that the temperature is in range, the compressor is running very smoothly and there is no any abnormal alarm, we can now send email to the office and inform them about this job well done. So guys, thank you very much for watching my video. So I hope that you learned something about the installation of the compressor. So thank you until the next video about the reefer container. Thank you everyone.